Hello friends, it's Stamp Ventures with Shauna, Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan, Canada. Welcome to my Tuesday tutorial at, is it about 9:02 p.m. here in Saskatchewan on Tuesday, September 12th. Yeah, all right. And obviously I haven't been talking very much. I've been working on my cards and now I feel like my voice is getting a little scratchy on me. So just going to grab a mint so I will hopefully make it through the next few minutes of this video. If you've managed to find the video here tonight, say hello. As I said, if you're catching me on September 12th, it's live, and if it's after that, then you're catching the replay. So I think I've managed to find where the comments will be popping up. All right, there we go. You're set. Oftentimes I start out with a bit of a funny, but I had somebody mention that they enjoy hearing what I've been reading lately. Many of you know I belong to a book club. So I thought I'd mention that this is the book that we discussed recently. And it's a little bit different than the books that my book club has normally chatted about. It's a nonfiction written by a gal from British Columbia here in Canada. And her day job is being an editor for a publishing company, I guess, or for writers anyways. But she has written this somewhat of nonfiction memoir style book, and it's about looking for the biggest trees in the forest. Excuse me just for one moment. Okay, hopefully that's behind me now. So the giants that she's tracking are what she calls the champion trees. So the biggest of each kind of tree species in the province. So very, very different. I learned a lot about the forest industry, and she learned a lot about seeing the trees for the forest and some revelations that came upon her in her life. And I wouldn't say it's the best book that I've read, but it's certainly interesting. And I'm looking forward to giving this book to my son, who does currently live in BC, because I think he'll certainly have a different view of it living out there, and actually probably being able to go to some of the places where she spotted some of the champion trees. So anyways, that's my latest read for book club, and we'll carry on. I do have a weather report today, a quick one, and then I'll get on to the Christmas cards. So today's weather is blowy. We seem to have a lot of wind again. It's a thing here in Saskatchewan. And so I'm now allowed to show you the inside of the mini catalog, and today's weather report is brought to you by, of course, the party blowers, because we had a blowy day, and it's called Year to Celebrate. And I liked how they showed you could, use these for birthday parties or happy birthdays, but you could also use it for New Year's celebrations as well, or congratulations, probably like a graduation. So there we go. We had a blowy day today. I should probably keep this close by so I can show you the paper that I'm working with, where it's located in the catalog. So last week I did a video and showed how to make this card. Just opens like that. So it's a little bit of a fun fold, but it's a super easy one. And I really liked how it used almost a 6x6 sheet of designer paper. So it's actually 6 inches by, that's the width, and the height here is 5 1/4. And I showed some of the papers and asked for suggestions of what Christmas papers you thought I should try for this week's video, and to show this idea with a Christmas theme. So the two most popular ones seemed to be I should say this, because some people were doing my this or that poll. Some people were selecting this, which is called Merry, Bold, and Bright. And it's, non-traditional in that it's super bright and very modern. And I'm just going to see if I can find the page where it is. There we go. It's on page 9 of the mini catalog. And you can just see like completely, almost wear your sunglasses bright. They have some specialty paper that goes with it. The specialty paper is Melon Mambo and Granny Green Apple. Those are both, from our Brights collection of inks and papers. You wouldn't think that they would be traditional Christmas colors. So one of the cards today, I'm going to be using a 6x6 inch piece from the Merry, Bold, and Bright. And then the other paper here was that paper on my poll. And you can see it's much more subtle, kind of has some earthy elements to it. And it's called Winter Meadow. And I should know the page this is on, because I think I was at this, not looking at it too long ago. I think it's 39. If I can get my fingers to work here. Oh, no, it's not 39. It is, I better look in the index. That's the handy thing about these mini catalogs, is right at the very back. If you can't remember, like there's all the papers right there. And so it was close, 37. Okay, just had the wrong second digit. 37, there it is right there. So again, very soft and lots of foliage, and it's like it is watercolored paper, watercolored images and watercolored paper. So I'm going to use these two these two designer papers to create, there, my nose is still going on me here, to create the cards that are based on this idea, but with the Christmas theme. So I'm going to start off with the Merry, Bold, and Bright paper. And I've already cut it down to the 6 inch by 5 1/4, and I've scored it here, and that's 2 inches from the right edge. And so this one is going to fold and work very similar to the first card that I showed you. So I'm going to glue this on to the 5 1/2 by 4 1/4 inch card base. Oh wow, those colors are just so amazing. It's kind of sad to have to put glue on one side of the card or one side of the paper, because both sides are pretty bright and just so happy, so very cheerful and happy. Okay. And then there's this mini card that's going to fit right here. The designer paper piece will fold in between the mini card like that. So some of you might remember this from last week's video. So I'm just doing this part quickly because some of you have already seen this. If you need a refresher on the size of the mini card, it's 5 1/2 inches wide, and then you score it at 2 3/4. And then how tall is it? I think it's I was going to say 4 inches. No, that's wrong. Yep, that's right. It is. It's 4 inches tall by 5 1/2 inches wide, and the 5 1/2 would be scored in half at 2 3/4. There we go. And as with last week, my layers here I'm using, I've already done some stamping. I cut these pieces, these layers for the mini card, with the dies that are in a set that looks like this. And they're called scallop contours, and you can see there's all different kinds of sizes, and I think I used this, the third one down from the largest. Yeah, and that just fits nicely. And because this paper is like really bold and has lots of like solid lines, and it's not too fluffy or cuddly or anything like that. I just thought I'd just do like a basic greeting on the front, and I'm using the greeting from the Christmas Classics stamp set, and that's also in the mini catalog. And I grabbed some of the Simply Elegant twine, and I tied that around, like, I don't know, the third bump up. And when I went to tie it, before I made the knot, I put a piece of a little glue dot in there. So one of the little gummy glue dots. And so that when I, did the first once around, I didn't have anybody's finger nearby to hold it in place. The glue dot held it in place. And then I tied the bunny ears, and the glue dot allowed me to adjust it, and it kept it tight in place, and that was handy. So I'm just going to glue that on. And like I said, because the paper is so very bright and almost overwhelming in a way, I'm not going to make the front part, the design part here with the words, too fussy. I'm going to let the paper shine and do its work. And I've grabbed Merry and Christmas from this Christmas Classic stamp set. I guess it would be better if you could see what I'm doing here. Merry and Christmas. And I've put them on to one clear block. So I'm going to be able to stamp Merry Christmas right in the center of the second layer for the little mini card. And I should grab, because this is a photopolymer stamp, I should grab my foamy mat. And I'm going to stamp it with Blueberry Bushel, as that's the color of the blue pieces of cardstock here that I've been using. So I'm kind of curious, for those of you who saw the poll, you had a choice to pick your favorite. This, which is the bold and bright, or where's my other piece here? That, which is hiding, that, which is the soft kind of foliage. And I'm curious as to what people chose so far. Maybe in the comments you can let us know if you were voted for the this or the that. And if you haven't voted, you might want to go back to that post and leave your comment, because all the people who leave a comment, their name will be put into a draw for one of the Christmas cards that I make tonight. So it'll be kind of getting you partly on your way to sending out a special note to somebody at Christmas. And maybe you can, if you have somebody in mind that you might want to send a hand-stamped card to, could let us know who that might be, because sometimes there's special people on your Christmas list that you don't want them to just get, any old card that has been mass-produced. You might want it to go to somebody like a special aunt, somebody that's in a care home, or somebody who lives maybe a long distance away or overseas, and you can't maybe afford to send them a present, but a special card would be really nice. So yeah, could keep that in mind. I'm going to grab some of our rhinestones, just our basic rhinestone jewels, and just throw a few of these on to add a little bit of bling. And we're going to call this card good. So yeah, like quick and easy. I'm not doing too much more fussy work on it, because this paper just is so amazing just on its own. Okay, I'm looking for, I seem to have lots of little ones and lots of big ones, but I don't seem to have the in-between sizes of the rhinestones. Oh, that might be an in-between one there. Okay, so I think I want an in-between one, maybe down here. Oop. Oop. Just using my putty end at the take or pick tool to help me pick these up. Get 3 different sizes here. We'll have medium, and here's a large, and here's a small. There we go. Okay, so we're going to call that done. Quick card number 1, and opening and using that almost 6x6 piece of paper. And last week I was showing how you could add a strip of the designer paper. This would be the 3/4 inch strip that got cut off so that it wasn't 6 inches tall, but only 5 1/4. And you can glue that somewhere on your envelope if you want, or I suppose you could glue it inside. No, I don't like it inside there. I'm just going to put it on my envelope, and I'm not going to put it sideways this time on my envelope. I'm going to put it going across because I don't want, well, I think the pattern looks better that way. There are trees that are automatically upside down because they tend to go in both directions here with this pattern, but okay. Just add that along the bottom. I know lots of stamping friends say you should never send a naked envelope. Well, I'm guilty. That's sometimes I feel like, okay, if I manage to get a stamp on it and address it and get it into the mailbox, I'm feeling like that's success. So don't beat yourself up if you don't decorate your envelopes. Just the fact that you're sending a special message to someone is, I think, important. Oh, I forgot I had this little piece here. So the dies that coordinate with this Christmas Classic stamp set look like this. There's 2 sheets of them in the pack, and I cut one of these to get this foliage here, and I was contemplating maybe tucking it in here. Okay. For those who are watching, I'd love if you could help me out. Okay, so we've got no leaf. Do you like that clean look, just like that? Or do you think just adding that leaf sprig makes a little bit of an extra touch that you like? So with the leaf or without? And I'll check and see what comes up in the comments, and whatever you guys vote for most, that's what we're going to go with for card number 1. With the leaf. Sometimes actually when I'm all by myself and I can't decide what I like best, I take a picture of it one way and then I take a picture of it the other way. And there's something about looking through the lens of the camera really helps me figure out which way I want to go with it. So there's a trick. If you're all by yourself working on cards or anything really that's visual, take a picture of it and see what you think. Okay, so, Sharon says it's not too blowy in Medicine Hat today. I can't believe that because your wind came during the night, because we usually get our wind from you out west there, Sharon. But I'm glad it was a nice day for you. Oh, and you love this DSP card. Yes, Inez, it's just a great way to use up all your pretty papers and not just, have them sitting there and not giving them the love. And so Inez says with the leaf. Sue says I prefer without the leaf. And Sharon says without for me. Okay, so we've got without for 2. We'll go with that for now. I might be able to glue the leaf. No, I won't worry about it. Okay, we'll get on to card number 2. Card number 2 is going to be a variation on this same theme, but now remember, we're using different paper. This is the Winter Meadow, and unfortunately, I did take a look, and Winter Meadow is on back order now, so it's been popular. It's coming back on September 25th, so it's good that it's not going to be too long without it. And this time, the fold with the designer paper is going to be on the left. And I wanted it so that when it opened up, you saw all the foliage. So it's just a little bit of this watercolor bit on the left. And again, so this is folded just 2 inches from the edge. It's 6 inches wide and 5 1/4 inches tall. Ooh, and I better be careful. I only want glue on this side. Kind of looks like the sky, doesn't it? Blue wash. And again, we're using the same color for the base. It's the Blueberry Bushel. Isn't that interesting how the 2 completely different patterns with a completely different vibe both have some of the same colors in them? Okay, now I'm going to set that off to the side with the dies that I showed you earlier that coordinate with Christmas Classic stamp set. There's this one that has all the foliage around it. And I have to tell you, I had to use 2 shims, not just one, 2 shims. When I say a shim, that's a piece of cardstock. But I used 2 pieces of cardstock set on the very top of my cutting plates. It's not in the layers, it's on the top of the cutting plates. And I went back and forth and back and forth. And I even moved it a little bit and went back and forth again. And then it cut out all those little pieces. So it's absolutely beautiful. But you might have to just do extra work to get all the little detailed pieces cut out. And so, yeah, of course I had to use that because the theme with the paper and all the foliage. And then there's another piece. I don't know if you realize this. This is a separate piece in here that cuts out a square that fits just inside like this. So I'm going to stamp some words on there, and I'm going to use the Blueberry Bushel again. And this time, I'm going to use Peace on Earth. Again, just kind of trying to stick with the theme of the designer paper. I'm going to pull out a scrap piece of white cardstock. This is the first time that I've used the Peace on Earth stamp, and I want to see how well it takes to the ink. Sometimes with the photopolymer stamps, you need to ink them up in Versamark ink, let them sit for a few minutes, and then clean them off, and then use them with the colored inks. Sometimes takes just a little bit of priming. Okay, I'll go for about there. And so I could just glue this in the middle and keep it fairly plain, but I'm going to try something. I don't know if I'm going to like it, but I've decided that, you know what, it's okay. Even if I don't like it, I can say I tried it. I'm going to grab the Garden Green ink. There is some Garden Green in this foliage here. There's a few different greens, and not all of the greens are listed in the catalog. I think they talk about Pretty Peacock and the Lagoon color. Lost Lagoon. I was going to say Lonely Lagoon. Lost Lagoon. But Garden Green isn't mentioned in the listing of colors in the catalog. So check your packages of paper on the back. There's a more detailed listing, and Garden Green is listed there. Or you can hold it up to some of your cardstock pieces and find the ones that are closest. But there's this, I'll show it to you here. There's this little corner piece, and I'm going to try and stamp that in the 4 corners. I don't know what it's going to look like, but I'm going to give it a shot. See what happens. Oh, maybe I should grab my scrap here before I... Here it is. I put it way out of the reach. Just going to see what happens when I just does this little decorative corner. And I guess, this one it doesn't fit as well into the corner because the corners are chopped off on this. Okay, well, we'll just try it anyways. There's one. Oh, it still looks all right. And two. Oh my goodness, I really inked that up there. Gotta go easy. And corner number 3. Wow. What a way to add a little touch to a square piece of cardstock. So that's going to get glued on to there. And you know, I have 2 more pieces of basic white. These are square as well. They're 2 1/4 inches by 2 1/4 inches. And I'm going to do those ones as well. So we kind of get the whole like coordinating thing going on with the card. And these are going to go inside, and I'll show you in a minute how that works. There. And 3. They're almost like little raindrops, or maybe little leaves. Maybe that's what it is. And who'd have thunk that the tiniest little stamp could make such a difference on a plain basic square? Oh, I was going to stamp Merry Christmas on one of these too, and I'm going to get the blue again for that. So go back to the blueberry bushel here. Oh my, isn't this lovely? I just realized that my bruise here on my arm has been showing in some of the pictures. You know, I can't even remember what I did there. But yes, I've got this lovely bruise that seems to be taking forever to go away. Okay. There we are. And this last piece is going to be where you write the to and a from. So there's not a lot of room to write a big long message. You might have to enclose a letter if you want a big long message with this card. We're going to start gluing together. So this white is going to be glued onto the blue, and then these pieces just on this one side will be adhered to the front of the card. And I think I'm going to use a lot of dimensionals. I'll use some dimensionals on the white. And I'm going to use some dimensionals on the blue, and I'll like put 2 in these corners here. 1, 2, and then I'll put 2. I know it's going to be somewhere around the middle here, so I'll put 2 in the middle like that. And then I'll center it as best I can, like that. I like that because it's lifted up a bit from the card base. You can see a little bit of the shadows of the foliage, and so that I just kind of like that idea. Okay, now these are going to go on the inside, and one's going to go here. And I could probably glue that on right now. Just going to use, I just realized something. Okay, so I could probably put 2 glue dots here. So it'll be at the same depth. And then I'll use a little bit of the liquid glue on this half here. There we go. And So something like this. Oh, I feel like that's a little crooked there. And then a tiny little spot where people can write. And it's hard to know where this is going to be and not stick out and show. So this is what I find is the easiest, is I lay it down on this one so I know it's going to match up just right. Put a tiny bit of glue around here, and we're going to close the sandwich. Okay, right about there is where it matches up. Okay, close the sandwich, and hopefully that, there we go. And now we know that it's going to hide in behind here and none of the white's going to be popping out. So, I think because this is kind of a special extra things going on with this one. It's a little bit stepped up. We're going to put some of this beautiful ribbon on. And I didn't realize, it's sheer ribbon, but it's almost like a really loose weave. It's so very thin and flexible and soft. And so I'm going to try my best to make a bow here. Some of you know I usually can make bows, but when you're doing something in front of the camera, it doesn't always work. Here's one of the ways that I like, because it makes a nice flat bow. So you make the 2 bunny ears and you cross one over the other. And when you cross them over, you've created a hole down there. So this one bunny ear that's crossed over the front, you're going to poke it around and make it come up through the hole. And then you just pull, and of course it looks weird to begin with, but then you just have to play with it to shorten the ears and lengthen the tails, and you twist it a bit. If you tighten it super hard, sometimes it wants to even twist more. So maybe just a gentle, it's one of those things you have to play with. Okay. Oh, this is such pretty ribbon. And we'll snip off at an angle, and I'm going to put this, what did they call it? Sheer ribbon. They say silver and white sheer ribbon. Trying to decide if I want it at the very bottom or off on one of the corners. Maybe I'll make this the last participation part of the video. So here we go. There's down at the bottom centered, or on the corner like that. I think I know which one I prefer. Let me know in the comments if you like centered or the corner. And I'll just check and see what's coming through on the messages here. Love it. Leaf. Sharon says she likes it on the corner. And that's what I think. I have to agree with you, Sharon. I think I like it best on the corner too. Yeah. So get the glue dots, and there we go. It's going to cover up one of the little corners that I stamped, but that's okay. The bow just softens everything. And I think I need to pull back the bling. This is going to be an over-the-top card. It needs to have a little bit of bling too. And this one's a little more challenging for me. So we've got these corner things going on and a lot of busyness around. I'm wondering if we could do like a big here and a smaller here and maybe one up something like that. That's a little bit different, but yeah, I think bling is always a good thing, right? And oh boy, I did have that package of envelopes here somewhere, probably down at the bottom of the pile. I do have my little piece that I cut off that I could use on the envelope, and I'll do that when I find the envelope. So there we go. There's my two this or that papers, this and that, basically using the 6x6 piece of card or piece of designer paper and just trimmed off a little bit. And two fun ways to use your paper, and that's kind of why I've been doing a lot with designer paper in my videos, is to get people to use their papers. There's so many nice ones out there, and this is a great way to use your paper and show it off on both sides, and also spread some Christmas cheer or whatever, for whatever occasion that you're creating a card for. So if you do make a card based on one of these designs, I would absolutely love to see it. You could message me and show me what you've created, or post it in the comments. I always think we can learn so much from one another. So thank you so much for watching this variation on my 6x6 DSP card. And if you haven't already entered into my draw, make sure you go back and find the post where it says this or that. And one person will be drawn from the long list of people. And on Sunday night, I'll put all the names into the random wheel picker, and someone can choose pardon me, which of these cards they'd like to receive in the mail. Have a great rest of the week, everyone. Thanks for dropping in tonight. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.